It's a nightmare if you prepare for another verse and the verse is different. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Banachari. Yamuna Tira Banachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jayo Radha Vallabha Radha Vallabha Shri Radhe. Jayo Jagannatha Jagannatha Baladeva Jayo Subhadra. Jayo Gauranitai, 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 Jayo Gauranitai. Gauranitai, Jayo Gauranitai. Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Ashtottara Shata Shri Śrīmad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Gaur Bhaktivrinda Ki Nitai Gaur Premanande Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavatiruttama shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, welcome all of you for today's discussion of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. We are reading from Canto 9 and Chapter 14, titled as King Pururava Enchanted by Urvashi. We are reading from verse number 37. Striyo hyakur akaruna krura Durmarsha priyashar sahasah Gnanantyalparthe vishrabdham Pati bhrataram apyuta. Striyo hi akaruna krura Durmarsha priyasahasah Gnananti alparthepi vishrabdham Gnanantyalparthepya vishrabdham Patim bhrataram apyuta. Striyo hi akaruna krura Durmarsha priyasahasah Gnanantyalparthepi vishrabdham Patim bhrataram apyuta. Striyo hi akaruna krura Durmash Gnantyalparthepi vishrabdham Patim bhrataram apyuta. Mataji's. Striyo hi akaruna krura Durmarsha Priya Sahasaha Ghanti Alparthe Pivishrabdham Striyo hi akaruna krura Durmarsha Priya Sahasaha Ghantal Parthipi Vishrabdham Patim Bhrataram Apyutam. Word to word translations. Striyaha, women, he, indeed, akarunaha, merciless, kruraha, cunning, durmarshaha, intolerant, priyasahasaha, for their own pleasure, they can do anything. Gnanti, they kill. Alpa arthe, for a slight reason. Api, indeed. Vishrabdham, faithful. Patim, husband. Bhrataram, brother. Api, also. Uta, it is said. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Women as a class are merciless and cunning. They cannot tolerate even a slight offense. For their own pleasure, they can do anything irreligious. And therefore, they do not fear killing even a faithful husband or a brother. Purport. King Pururava was greatly attached to Urvashi. Yet, despite his faithfulness to her, she had left him. Now, considering that the king was wasting his rarely achieved human form of life, Urvashi frankly explained the nature of a woman. Because of her nature, a woman can respond to even a slight offense from her husband by not only leaving him, but even killing him if required. To say nothing of her husband, she can even kill her brother. That is a woman's nature. Therefore, in the material world, unless women are trained to be chaste and faithful to their husbands, there cannot be peace or prosperity in the society. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Sva Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishna Vamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। यं प्रव्रजन्तम् अनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायन विरह कातरा जुहावा। पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदु, स्थं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। Hare Krishna. Before I begin, I seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Bhagavatam sometimes throws challenges, and this is a challenge now, especially this section. I was sincerely begging all the blessings of the mothers especially. So I'll read the translation again. Women as a class are merciless and cunning. They cannot tolerate even a slight offense. For their own pleasure, they can do anything irreligious, and therefore they do not fear killing even a faithful husband or a brother. Now, before even discussing the verse, I would like to, as usual, I would love to glorify the literature that we are studying today, the transcendental literature called Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. In the 12th canto, there is a chapter where Bhagavatam glorifies itself. It's called Glories of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. There, Suta Goswami actually summarizes the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam in that chapter. And in the chapter, in the last verse, he actually pays his obeisances to Shukadeva Goswami. I'll chant the verse, we will discuss why this is important. Swasukha nibhrita chetastadvyudastanya bhavo apyachita ruchira lila krishta sarastadiyam vyatanuta kripayayas-tattvadipam puranam tam akhila vrijinagnam vyasa sonum natosmi. In this verse, Suta Goswami, Swasukha Nibhrita Chetas, he's addressing Shukadeva Goswami as Swasukha Nibhrita. Shukadeva Goswami's state of existence was, he was happy by himself. Swasukha, completely satisfied by one's own self. Swasukha Nibhrita Chetaha. His consciousness was completely aware of what his surroundings was, completely aware of who he was, and completely contented and satisfied. There was nothing he needed apart from himself. Vyudasta anya bhavo. He was not involved in anything else. But, so in general sense, he was Brahman realized. That's what we say. Even as he was an infant or a child, in the baby in the womb, in his mother's womb, he was already Brahman realized. Means he was completely satisfied. But the Lord inspired him to get out of the womb, and he started walking away from the house. And when he was trying to walk away, he heard his father preaching Śrīmad Bhāgavatam to the disciples. Immediately, something transformational happened to him. Api ajita ruchira lila krishta sarastadiyam. His existence was, he was completely self-satisfied, and he knew he was self-satisfied because he has to be aware of his existence, is it not? One is to be aware of one's own existence. This is complete realization. This is called self-realization. It's a very, very difficult thing to come to that perspective. He was aware of this, his own existence, that he was completely satisfied. But yet, when he was walking away, something attracted him, which disturbed him. Something else is attracting me? Because, in today's general common sense, everybody is attracted. You know what is the most beautiful thing we are all attracted to these days? It's black in color. What is that? Most of it is black in color. Yes, the phones. Interestingly, Krishna also is black in color, but we are attracted to the wrong black thing. So, everybody is attracted because they are not self-satisfied. They want to seek something all the time. We are hungry for some time to eat food. We are hungry for something beautiful to look at. We are hungry for something soft to touch. We are hungry for something fragrant to smell. You know, the senses are always busy seeking something outside. And the mind is using these senses to seek something outside, like the suction machines. It wants to continuously enjoy. But Shukadeva Goswami was not like this. He was completely satisfied. There is another word which is called, which is denoting such persons. What is it called as? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave a long purport on this verse. Atma Ramascha Munayo. Atma Rama. Atma Rama means he is enjoying the bliss of Atman. This is called Brahman realized or self-realization. Such a person was a bit shocked that how come my ears are getting attracted to something else apart from my own existence? What is that? Api ajita ruchira. Ajita means who? Ajita means one who is unconquerable. Krishna. Krishna is the name. Krishna's name is Ajita. Ajita ruchira lila krishna sarastadiyam. He got attracted to the pastimes of this Ajita. Who is this Ajita? Why am I getting so attracted to his stories, to his Leela Krishna? Vyatanuta kripaya yas tattva-deepam puranam. Once he got attracted, then he sat there and drank all of it from the heart of whom? Vyasadeva. So, this is the process of understanding Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Because Suta Goswami writes this verse in the end to say, what is the qualification of someone and what is the eligibility of someone who can understand Śrīmad Bhāgavatam? What is the eligibility? It cannot be understood by doing Bhakti Vaibhav. Of course, it can be understood by doing Bhakti Vaibhav, but not merely Bhakti Vaibhav. Why? Because Shukadeva Goswami did not do Bhakti Vaibhav or Bhaktivedanta. What was his qualification? On top, so the point here is, first of all, we have to understand how did Vyasadeva come to understand Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Narada Muni says in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Vedaha Puranam, in the beginning chapters of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Narada Muni says, you will realize Bhāgavatam when you go into Samadhi. There is a verse where he talks about Samadhi. Samadhina anusmarat tad vicheshtitam. Narada Muni says, when you enter Samadhi, Bhagavatam will be revealed to you eventually. So Vyasadeva entered into Samadhi and the whole of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam was downloaded to him, was revealed to him. And now, this Bhagavatam is going to be transferred to Shukadeva Goswami. How? Through the same oral reception, through that same Samadhi. It is said that both Vyasadeva and Shukadeva Goswami were one in heart. They were one in heart. Why? Because the Vastu was Krishna. Because their hearts were joined together towards that Ajita, through that oneness of heart, the knowledge got transformed. It is called as Pratyaksha. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Pratyaksha avagamam susukham dharmyam. Means, sometimes we need to experience, we say. We want to experience certain things, you know. The way to experience is through these five senses. The only way we can experience in this world is through these five senses. But Bhagavatam, the experience of Bhagavatam has to go beyond the five senses. It has to go deeply entrenched in the heart. So therefore, it cannot be understood just by theoretical conceptualization. We cannot conceptualize Bhagavatam theoretically, write down points and make down notes. It is important, I'm not decrying that, but mere theoretical understanding is not enough, or mere conceptual understanding is not enough. Our hearts should get tuned into the hearts of Vyasa. That's why he glorifies him as Vyasa Sunum Natosmi. They're always together. Vyasa and Sunu. Sunu means son. The word son comes from Sanskrit Shabda as Sunu. Vyasa Sunum Nato atnatosmi. Suta Goswami pays his obeisances so that just like Shukadeva, you have drunk the nectar, Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Phalam Rasamalayam. May I also drink that nectar. May my heart also combine and get merged into your heart so I can also get the taste of this fruit of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So we seek the blessings of, and whom else should we also aspire our hearts to combine with, apart from Vyasadeva and Shukadeva Goswami? Srila Prabhupada, because that nectar is coming through the heart of Srila Prabhupada. So we take the blessings from the heart of Srila Prabhupada, from the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, and then understand this beautiful literature called Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Because it cannot be understood by material means, because this is a transcendental literature. So how can we understand this transcendent literature through our mere material ears, material mouth, and material eyes? It cannot be understood. So a higher level of oral reception is required. So and that can only happen when the mercy flows from top down, from the acharyas. So with this, we will step into a little study of this particular section of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, where Urvashi is chastising Pururava. Pururava is another glorious king who's coming in the lineage of Soma, the Chandra or the Chandra Vamsha, and he is the son of Buddha, whom Brahmaji names him as Buddha, the son of Tara, and Buddha, son of Buddha is the son, and Buddha's son is Pururavas. So now, as we know, Bhagavatam is amazing, because Bhagavatam is also like a poetry. And here you see, it's a deep poetry of romance being explained. What is the most famous romantic literature everybody knows in the material world? Exactly. Very famous. Romeo and Juliet, Pride and Prejudice, very famous literatures, William Shakespeare's, But here you go, Bhagavatam describes a wonderful romantic literature, Pururava. If somebody takes only Pururava's story, it can beat up even Romeo and Juliet, actually. It's quite amazing, romantic literature. But the focus of Romeo and Juliet is only romance, which is material romance. But the focus of Bhagavatam is to show you material romance and can show you how it can destroy your existence of human life. So Bhagavatam spills dharma projita kaitavotra paramo. It destroys all these false perceptions that exists in this material existence. Now, for whatever reason, Pururava, due to his prarabdha karma, he got attracted to Urvashi, and although given a high birth, he had access to the Manus, he had access to Lord Brahma, and still you can see what lust can do for such an exalted personality as well. So therefore, Bhagavatam tries to wake us up. Now before I step in a little bit, let us ponder on another beautiful feature of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. There is, now Bhagavatam is a very interesting literature, because this is perhaps the only Vedic literature where we have the oldest commentary available, especially the Puranas, which dates back even to the 6th, 5th century, where the oldest commentary is written by Vopadeva, which Srila Prabhupada mentions in many times in his talks and his lectures as well. In that, it is written, I know I was telling this the other day and Anirudh Prabhu asked me where is the source. This is the source. I was trying to find that out. I found the source. There is a shloka, Vedaha Puranam Kavyam Cha Prabhur Mitram Priyevacha Bodhayantitihi Prahus Trivid Bhagavatam Punaha. Vedaha, Purana and Kavya. There are three things. Vedas is, the Vedas. Purana is the Puranas, the 18 Puranas. And Kavya is poetic literature. Kalidasa's Dushyanta and Shakuntala and all of these poetic literatures. All of these have their own styles of teaching. Vedas will instruct us. Hey, don't do this, do this. This is how Vedas teach. They instruct like a king, like a ruler. Puranas instruct like a friend. And Kavya instruct like a beloved. But Bhagavatam preaches us in all three styles. It sometimes instructs us like a king. It sometimes preaches us to like a friend. And sometimes teaches us like a beloved. And right now, we are seeing how a beloved of Pururava, who is Urvashi, is trying to preach Pururava, and therefore Bhagavatam tries to preach like a beloved. That's what it means when Bhagavatam tries to preach like a beloved. And of course, when Bhagavatam preaches, it means Vyasadeva uses the characters to preach to us. So sometimes he uses an elephant to preach to us like Gajendra. Sometimes he uses a Gandharvika, who is Urvashi here, to preach to Pururava, like that. So, apparently, when you see these verses, it seems very critical, is it not? It seems very critical. Women as a class are merciless and cunning. Really? This is the same class which gives birth to glorious sannyasis. Is it not? They are the same class who are called as mothers, who are revered as mothers. Women are a class. Striyo hi akaruna. Akarunaha kruraha. Can they be krura? Some can be, but not all. So how can Bhagavatam, just now we thought that it was a transcendent literature. What has it got to do with mundane criticism like this? What has it got to do with mundane gender bias like this, especially in today's terminology? So there seems to be something mysterious. Is it not? Does it not give us something mystical and mysterious about this? So therefore we have to understand Puranas have their own style of preaching. One of the type of preaching is called as, there are 3 languages in the Puranas. We've already discussed this many times. One is Darshana Bhasha, Samadhi Bhasha, and Guhya Bhasha. There are 3 languages how Puranas preaches. One is Guhya Bhasha. Guhya means it is, what's the word called as? It is encrypted in computer terminology. It's encrypted. You will not understand what it's trying to say. You will always misunderstand what it's trying to say. That is one way of saying things. It's encryption, or it's secretively giving some messages. The second thing is Darshana Bhasha. Darshana Bhasha means it is presented to us as if someone is seeing it. But it may not necessarily be the truth. Make sense? Prabhuji, I was walking on the street and I saw a car and I saw a lady badly injured. So you saw this, but you do not know what was factual. You know what I mean? So, and you are coming and narrating it. I saw this accident, I saw this person. This is Darshana Bhasha. It is not Samadhi Bhasha. Samadhi Bhasha means, oh, you saw this because she was driving recklessly and therefore she's hit something and etc. etc. That is Samadhi Bhasha. Darshana Bhasha means say it as you saw it, but not necessarily true, not necessarily the reality. Because this is poetic. Bhagavatam is poem. It's a poem. So therefore, there are various ways in which the truths are revealed to us by Vyasadeva. So therefore, if we do not understand the Trividha Bhasha of Puranas, the first thing what will happen, people come to wrong conclusions. So I was just trying to see how people can understand Bhagavatam and Puranic literatures these days. These days it's going very hot in the internet these days. People try to claim that they can understand scriptures. They'll try to make an attempt to read scriptures, and what will happen? They will misunderstand scriptures. So I was thinking, what will people come to conclusion after reading these verses of Vyasadeva or Srila Prabhupada's purports? First, people who are living on pseudo-existential wisdom. You know, there's something called as existential wisdom. But somebody who lives on pseudo-existential wisdom means they don't know. They don't know. Yeah, they're empty from here. They will come to these conclusions. What is the conclusion number 1? They will say, Prabhupada or Vyasadeva and all literatures of Prabhupada and Vyasadeva are chauvinistic. That's the conclusion they will come to, number 1. The second conclusion they will come to is, thereafter I will only read literatures which are written by women. Or I will only worship the deity which is a female deity. I've heard, this is a practical experience I've had. This is what they'll come to conclusion to. I will not read any literatures written by men. I will only read something which a female has written. Therefore, you will see today's days, Devi Bhagavatam is gaining prominence because of this only. These type of wrong conclusions only. I'm reading Devi Bhagavatam. Why? Because not that one is having interest in Devi Bhagavatam. Because they don't want to read, because they think Vyasadeva is chauvinistic. So this is wrong conclusion number 2. Or males thinking that these literatures written by Vyasadeva is very nice, so I can use it for women bashing. I will read Bhagavatam because very nice, no? Prabhupada is written about women, you see. They will use this to justify their prejudice against women. Second wrong conclusion. Third wrong conclusion, Literatures are always oppressive against women. That's what they will think. Scriptures, I don't want to read any scriptures. They're always oppressive about women. We are now modern. We are living in modern ages. These are all age-old, useless traditions. We are living in the modern age. Nari, space tak pahunch gayi. Aajkal you will see this dialogue in India. Women have reached space and you are talking of all these useless traditions. We don't want any scriptures. We want Nasa and Basa, whatever. They will come to those conclusions. Or men thinking these verses reveals my life. Men will think. Because if a man is troubled by his wife, he will think, this is transcendental literature, man. It's talking about what's happening in my life. It's true. So what does it mean? He's imposing his life on the scriptures. He's seeing his life in the scripture and he thinks, therefore it must be true. No, it's not true because it's combined. It is relating to your life. Your life is because of your prarabdha, sir. But this is talking about transcendence. It has nothing to do with your life. But they will start seeing, oh, because I can relate to it now, Prabhuji. This is true, Prabhu. I've been troubled by my wife, Prabhuji. This is fact, Prabhuji. Bhagavatam is true, Prabhu. No, you are not saying Bhagavatam is true because you know it's true, but because you are pained by your prarabdha. So therefore, this is how they come to a wrong conclusion number 3. Wrong conclusion number 4. What they will do? Reject scriptures and live a free life. I want to be free. What do you mean? Live an ignorant life. That's what they mean. But they will not say ignorance. Ignorance is bliss. So they'll say freedom. Ignorance is bliss. Or they will get into pseudo-spirituality. I'm not into scriptures. I'm into yoga. I'm not into, scriptures is not my cup of tea. I'm into spirituality. What is spirituality? Mindfulness and things like that. I worship the universe. And what is it called as? This is called pseudo-spirituality. Because they don't know anything about spirituality. They just don't want to be revealed of the fact. They cannot face facts. They do not have the audacity or the capacity to face facts. Because there is no training that has been given to them. Or the 5th conclusion, men coming to conclusion that all women are like this. Wrong conclusion. These are all wrong conclusions because nobody understands what Bhagavatam is trying to say. Now one may question, but then why is Bhagavatam saying like this? Why is Vyasadeva saying like this? There are 5 reasons I have said. Why Bhagavatam or scriptures do this? We have to understand. First thing, people today are not trained to study scriptures. They are trained to study English rhymes. Baba, black sheep, hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock. We are only trained to study these literatures, but not trained to study Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, not trained in the ancient Vedic study of literature and poetry. We are not trained in especially even this language, Sanskritam. One says you need at least 12 to 20 years of study of Sanskritam only to enter into the Vedas. Forget about Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, because Śrīmad Bhāgavatam language is even higher than the Vedic Sanskritam. It is not general Sanskrit. There is a Vedic Sanskrit separately. Vedic Sanskrit is even different than normal Sanskrit, what is used in the common parlance. So people are not trained to study literature. And it's not only study, it also have to have so many other things. Second, they are trained to study Romeo and Juliet, or even Sanskrit students can study Dushyanta and Shakuntala, but they are not trained to study scriptures. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Vishnu Purana, or Bhagavad Gita, or Mahabharata. They are not trained. There is no training program. Who is training? Where are the teachers? Where are the acharyas who can sit and train where you are studying? Where at least there are some universities. We are safe in ISKCON because ISKCON we have at least 3 universities which I know. MIHE, VIHE or GEV. They are doing this. And the third one is, in today's day and age, people lack the purity to comprehend the truths. Because, as I said, our heart has to be in tune with the heart of Vyasadeva. How can I tune my heart if there is so much mala, so much dirt in my heart? How can I tune my heart to Vyasadeva or Shukadeva Goswami? What to talk of and Srila Prabhupada? So lack of purity to understand and deeply comprehend Vyasadeva's compositions. So these are the 3 lackings, and therefore the 2 reasons why scriptures do is, first one, to drive away pseudo-seekers. Scriptures do this. What do they do? Using darshana bhasha, it will drive away the pseudo-seekers. Because what they will do, they will read these verses and they will say, this is not for me. Bhagavatam smiles. Thank you. Please stay out. Please stay out. This is not for you. You're not ready. Because why? we are stepping into the most important, transcendental pastime of the Lord, which is the 10th canto. So unless you are clean with your heart, you can never be able to understand what is being spoken in the 10th canto. You will just take it as mundane affairs of the gopis and Krishna. So therefore, 9th canto tests us to the max, because ultimate exam will happen there. And 9th canto, people will drop out. So it is to filter out pseudo-seekers, both men and women. It's not only women, both men and women who think, men who think all women are like this, or women who think all scriptures are like this. Both are said to be standing out of the class. They say, good riddance. Bhagavatam says, dushta shikshanam, shishta rakshanam. I want to protect. And that's the last reason why Bhagavatam does this, or any scripture does this, to embrace genuine seekers. To bring in genuine seekers. Yes, you are eligible. Come in. Let us deep dive. Because there is a test being done. And an inquisitive student will, with patience, reason. There must be something else Vyasadeva is trying to say. That Shukadeva Goswami, who does not differentiate between a male and a female. Because even the female, you know, when Yam Pravrajantam, when Shukadeva Goswami was running, the women did not even cover themselves when he was running. Why? Because he did not see any distinction between a male and female. And this verse is coming out of his mouth. So you have to understand there must be something more. It can't be just mundane criticism on the gender level of male and biological differences. So therefore, to embrace genuine seekers and to establish proper understanding of Shukadeva's heart, nirvikaraha, this is the purpose of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. This is the main purpose, to embrace genuine students, to promote them into the 10th canto. So that is why these are the reasons why scriptures do this. Therefore, Krishna in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita says, Evam buddhe param buddhva, emav buddhe param buddhva, samstabhyatmanam atmana, jahishatrum mahabaho, kamarupam durashadam. So therefore, every time we see such doubts will arise. There is nothing wrong with having doubts. But those doubts should always be dealt with buddhi. Evam buddhehe param buddhva, Krishna says, with doubt. And samsthabhyatmanam atmana means establish yourself in transcendental knowledge. Therefore, jahishatrum mahabaho kama rupam durashadam. Only then you will be able to conquer lust. Because this answer Krishna gives for kama esha krodha esha rajoguna samudbhava. This is the same. There are 10 verses Krishna speaks. Now, before going into the depths of the pastime, I just want to ask a question. Does Bhagavatam criticize women somewhere else also like this? Is this the only place where it seems a bit disturbing? Many places, actually. Many places. One example is Kashyapa Muni criticizing his wife, Diti. Because Diti's both sons have been killed. Who are they? Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. Now, Diti's desire, what does Diti want now? You know the pastime, right? Diti wants whom to be killed? Indra to be killed. Because she thinks it is Indra who is the cause of my son's death. So what does she do? She asks a boon from her husband. And Kashyapa Muni says, okay, ask. Ask, my dear wife. Please go on. And then she asks. What does she ask? I want a son who can kill Indra. The moment she speaks the boon, Kashyapa Muni goes, he becomes red, furious. And then he chastises his wife. Sharat padmotsavam vaktram vachasta shravanamritam hridayam kshura darabham strinam ko veda cheshtitam. He says, a woman's face is as attractive and beautiful as a blossoming lotus flower. During autumn, her words are very sweet and they give pleasure to the ear. But if we carefully study the woman's heart, we can understand it can be extremely sharp like a blade of a razor. In these circumstances, who could understand the dealings of a woman? This is a chastisement again he's doing to his own wife, Diti. Why was he angry? Was he angry because he's criticizing his wife, Diti? Because you will see, he glorifies his wife in the 3rd canto, before Hiranyakashipu was born. But now he's criticizing. Why? Is he talking about women in general? No. Why is he criticizing? Why is he speaking these words? Or why is Vyasadeva writing these words? Why is Shukadeva Goswami speaking these words? Again to question and understand. Before he spoke these words, Kashyapa Muni, just a verse before this, I will read what he says. He says, this woman, my wife, has adopted a means that follows her nature. His her swabhava. And therefore, she is not to be blamed. Okay? But I am a man. Therefore, all condemnation upon me, I am not at all conversant with what is good for me. Since I could not control my senses, so he is chastising himself now. So this is, you have to understand, this is the talk between a husband and wife. It always happens like this. But when the beloved preaches, they always preach indirectly. They will not go you, me. Because it's, when it comes to personal taunts, it becomes very personal. That's why husband and wife speak indirectly. Oh, you're all like this. You husbands are all like this. Your wives are all like this. They talk like this, isn't it? It is like that. So therefore, even here, he gets angry and criticizes that your words are those like a blade, because she's asking to kill whom? Indra. Who is Indra? Indra is the son of Kashyapa only, is it not? It is his own son. And here is another wife asking, I want a son from you who can kill your other son. Therefore, he will think, how can you talk like this? Aditi is my other wife, Indra is my son, and you are asking me that I want to give birth to another son. And of course, the glorious birth of who? Huh? What happens? Who takes birth to kill Indra? Yeah. Is it not? He comes out and kills Indra, isn't it? So, like that, so there are so many places where this is discussed, where the criticism is not mundane criticism. We have to understand that. So here, Urvashi criticizing, coming to today's verse, Urvashi criticizing Pururava, we have to compare it to today's marketing strategy. Have you seen, especially in India, these days very famous, when there is a advertisement of a toothpaste, what do you see? They won't show toothpaste will whiten your teeth and make your teeth strong. They will not talk like this. They'll put a beautiful girl in the front, and then her teeth, smiling teeth. And then the man will say, if I use this toothpaste, my teeth will become like that? No. Then the girl will laugh at me, smile at me like that. So that's what's going on in his mind. So you see the marketing strategy? They use adultery to sell what? To sell a product. It has nothing to do with glorifying the woman nor her teeth. Is it not? Are they glorifying the woman in that advertisement? No, they're using the woman to sell the toothpaste. Yes or no? Do you agree? This is advertisement, isn't it? Chewing gum. Chewing gum. Chewing gum, why do you chew? To have some fresh breath. But they will show a girl and boy very close to each other. Then the person who is seeing this ad, the man or the woman, if I eat this chewing gum, I can also be close to one girl like this. The man is thinking, and he'll go by. So the point is, they are neither glorifying the man or the woman. They want to sell the product. Bhagavatam uses the same strategy. The point is not to criticize the woman. The point is to sell the product. What's the product? Detachment. It's negative advertisement, that's all. By criticizing women in general, Urvashi is using or preaching to Pururava to develop detachment in Pururavas. That's all. It's negative advertising. It's used. It's used many places. It's used because even a few days ago we were talking about Bilvamangal Thakur, the prostitute. Who is the prostitute? Chintamani. Chintamani also uses the same analogy, isn't it? Same style of negative advertisement. So it is to sell the product. It is not the criticism that is important. What is being sold? Just like the advertisement sells the product, here she's using criticism of women in general to develop detachment, grina svabhav, to build that nature in him to say, come on man, wake up. Why are you so attached? So this is the point. And we use it in general. We always use this. We always use this in our general discussions. So it is not Śrīmad Bhāgavatam this is how Bhagavatam being beloved it teaches. It teaches by criticizing or something like that. So therefore we have to understand. Now, as usual, I like linguistics. Let's analyze this from a linguistics perspective. In Shastras or in any poet, in any literature, there are two types of literatures, Gadya and Padya in Sanskrit, or prose and poetry. Right? You know what's prose and poetry? Prose is writing generally. Fifth canto is all of prose. Poetry is basically you can sing. So Bhagavatam, all the 10 cantos, majority of them are poetry only, except the 5th canto, which is prose. You can't sing them. You can't give meters to it. Chandas. You can't put a chandas, a framework of chandas, and then sing those verses. So Gadya means prose, Padya means verses. Right? Now when somebody is composing these literatures, especially Padya, poetic, there is something in English also you use. What is that called as? Have you heard of devices? Poetic devices? Have you heard of onomatopoeia, exaggeration, hyperbole? Have you heard of hyperbole? This is an example of hyperbole. That's all. Now if you put a linguistic perspective, it's hyperbole. It's exaggerating. All women are not like that. It's exaggerating. It's exaggeration. So therefore, from a perspective of poetic device, it's a hyperbole. It's exaggeration. In Sanskrit, it is called as arthavada. Arthavada. Because arthavada is used in many places. But to consider glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination, that is denigration of arthavada. You cannot apply exaggeration for glorifying the holy name. Arthavada namnad bala, that is an offense. But arthavada can be used to understand certain basic principles. Arthavada is used by Bhagavatam, many places. So it is arthavada. There is another science there is another study in languages called as hermeneutics. Have you heard of hermeneutics? Hermeneutics is basically to interpret, the interpretation. So, nahi ninda nindayitum prayujyate kim tarhi ninditad itarata prashamsitum. Sometimes the ninda is done not to criticize but to sell the product. That is called hermeneutics. So sometimes it is, certain things are criticized. For example, sometimes demigod worship is criticized. It is not to criticize the demigods. It is basically to say you don't have to do it, just worship Krishna. Sometimes you see devotees go around criticizing people who are worshipping them devatas. You should not. It's not to criticize devata worship. It is just to put the significance of the Krishna's worship higher. So the criticism is not to criticize, but to actually give a prashamsitum, just to give the prominence to something. Certain statements are made in the Shastras like that. Because Shastra is above all mundane criticism. It is nothing to do with mundane criticism. You are low, I am high. It is transcendental literature. Therefore, real intention of Bhagavatam is to cut down the attachment of Pururavas and therefore promote detachment in him. That's the point. That's the point. Now, why this becomes important? Because generally, if you understand from a scriptural perspective, genders, one is biologically existent genders. The second one is when Krishna speaks, I am this in men, I am this in women. He's not talking of biological genders at all. He's talking gender as a principle. There is a gender as a principle. There can be women who can be masculine. They are not called Strī, they are called as Dara. There is a verse I told about Dara. They are addressed as Dara, Bharya, Strī, Prakriti. There are so many words with which. Similarly, a man can be a man in biologically, but he might have feminine nature. He might be shy. He might be very introvert. There are certain feminine qualities and masculine qualities. In principle, we are talking about. Yeah. So it is said, Purusha is reminiscent of labor or parishrama, and Prakriti or Strī is the mind behind that Purusha. Means, for example, if there is a body, there is a physical body. If there is no life inside the body, what is the body called as? It's dead. So therefore that life is the feminine aspect. So therefore she is called as Shakti. Therefore Purusha and Prakriti have always been together. So it is to combine both and to worship Krishna. That is the point. Not to place someone higher or someone lower. That is not the point that scriptures say. In fact, scripture says, Buddhim tu pramadan vidyat. In the scriptures, many places, in fact, scriptures give more discount to women than the men. For example, in the morning, especially men, they have to go through certain practices. For example, they have to take a bath as soon as they get up. Women are not they have a discount. They don't have to. It is said in the Strī Dharma, even if they wash their hands and feet and face, they can do some basic activities. For example, lighting a lamp, boiling milk. They can do this. They're allowed. They don't have to. And they're also allowed to do only kanthasnanam, only till the neck. They don't have to take a head bath like the men. Men have to take 3 times a day head bath. So women are given a lot of discounts. Why? Because they don't have to. Women don't have to do yagna. Do you know that? Because they always do yagna. They don't need a sacred thread. Do you know that? Because men have to be qualified. Women are already qualified. Therefore, when they switch on the stove, they're already doing yagna. Their yagna is every day. They are yagna purushis already. For men, they have to be qualified. They have to pass the exam of yagnopavita. For women, it's not. Who says this? Pishima Mataji says this. Prabhupada's sister. They are yagnik already. So this is a beautiful example. It comes up in the 10th canto when we see this. When the Dvija Patnis, when Krishna goes and says, I am hungry, go and ask. Now you have to understand the pastime also very deeply, inquisitively. Why does Krishna tell the Gopas to go and ask them? Can he not manifest food by himself? You have to understand this. And he asks you go and ask the Brahmanas. Now they go and ask the Brahmanas. Now the Brahmanas were doing Mitra Varna Yagna. So the problem with the male class also is they think too logically. Too much logic. They thought this yagna has to be successful. And if this yagna is not successful, we cannot get what we want. Yagna rule says that Purnahuti, the final oblations have to be provided. Before that, we cannot do dana. These boys have come. We know they are from Krishna, but rules have to be stuck to. Therefore, we will ask the boys to wait. Logical, their logical thinking. So they said, no, we can't give you right now. You come afterwards. Go back to Krishna. Krishna says, where did you guys go? We went to the Brahmana. I told you, don't go there. Go to the back door. Ask the Matajis. You see what happens. They go again. Yagna Patnis. The moment they hear it is Krishna, the same pots which were meant to be poured as an oblation in the fire, everything is sent out to Krishna. Why? Bhava. Therefore, who is the topmost devotees of the Lord? Who? Gopis. Are they male or female? Feminine. Of course, in principle. Because a spirit soul also has a feminine and a male. The spirit is not genderless. They also have genders. In principle. In principle. Because if you see Vaikuntha, they say women and men are sitting on the ships and they are going. What women and women are you talking, Prabhu? It is Vaikuntha. There is no men and women. No, there are. In principle, there are. A spirit has a gender. But the gender is in principle, not biological gender. We have to understand that. Is it not? So, then Yagna Patnis are glorified like that. The Dvija Patnis are glorified like that. Gopis are glorified like that. So we have to understand Bhagavatam is not one-sided. In fact, Ahalya, Draupadi, Kunti, Tara, Mandodari, Tatha, Panchakanyam, Smare Nityam, Maha, Pataka Nashanam. This shloka is chanted even by the sannyasis. In many paramparas, they chant, what this shloka means is, let me pay my obeisances to Ahalya, Draupadi, Kunti, Tara, Mandodari. Kanya, they are married, but they are called as Kanya. Kanya means unmarried. Who? Imagine, Mandodari and Tara are wives of Ravana and Vali. Even they should be worshipped. Why? Because they are an epitome of Stri Dharma. Ahalya, Draupadi, Kunti, Sita Devi. They are epitome. So today's predicament, I'll just conclude. I have two things to say. Because of lack of Vedic principles, nor men nor women are trained in Vedic way of living. Without that training, we cannot comprehend or tune our hearts into Vyasadeva's heart. It cannot be done. It cannot be understood on a mundane level. So therefore, Vedic training is very important. Gurukula system is lost these days. It is said for a Purusha, Brahmacharya. That is why the significance of Brahmacharya is there. Brahma acharati iti Brahmacharya. What is Brahma? Brahma means the Vedas. Brahma means the Supreme Lord. Brahma means the Chaturmukha Brahma. So, one who has to understand the Brahma, Vedas, the Supreme Lord, they have to follow a certain habits. Only then one can comprehend the Vedas. That is called Brahmacharya. That is synonymously used by Brahmacharis who live in the Brahmacharya ashram. It is synonymously used with celibacy. Why? Because they are all synonymous. Celibacy is required to comprehend, because if Virya-nash is there, you cannot comprehend Vedas. That energy is required. Similarly, for Stri, development of certain, the aspect of sustenance, the aspect of nourishment, the aspect of shyness, all of these principles, that is why she is called Dharanat Shakti. She can do dharana. She can hold the whole family together. So that is why she has that power. She has the Shakti. So all these trainings have to be provided. Otherwise, we only provide them maths, English, science. Then maths, English, science mein samajh mein aayega. You cannot apply maths principles on Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. This is transcendental literature. Therefore, I will speak about two things and I'll conclude. In the Krishna Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami writes, the first avatara of the Supreme Lord is the Avesha avatar. Among the 26 avatars Vyasadeva lists in the first canto, who is the first avatara of the Lord? How does the Lord manifest himself as? No. Yeah, that is correct. But before that, Avesha avatars come out. It is 4 Kumaras. Sanat, Sanatana, Sananda and Sanaka. These 4 Kumaras, the Lord appears as brahmacharis, if you see. Is it not? The Lord appears as brahmacharis. Why? Because he is giving us a message that they are brahmacharis, they are Brahman realized. But until they become, of course they enter Vaikuntha, they don't get entrance into Vaikuntha, then they become devotees after smelling the tulasi fragrance of the Lord's lotus feet. Then they become devotees. And then they become Ajanma brahmacharis, and the sampradaya of Nimbarka starts from there. This is to state the point that Krishna is saying that the only, and interesting, these 4 brothers are always together. Huh? Have you seen? They're always together. And they're always like children. They're not adults at all. This signifies, and they have conquered lust. They have conquered lust. Why they have conquered lust? Because they have become devotees of the Lord. So the brahmacharya, as a principle, Krishna manifests as these 4 principles because to demonstrate that lust can be only overcome by worshipping me. Therefore, these 4 brahmacharis become brahmacharis because they become the devotees of the Lord. So this is the point that Krishna wants to say, that you can become a devotee only by surrendering to me. Mayametam tarantite, Krishna says. In fact, what's interesting is, those who want to get out of the disturbing thoughts of attraction towards male and female should study the attraction of the transcendental male and female, who is Radha and Krishna. Vikriditam vrajavadhu biridam cha Vishno Shraddhanvito nu shrunuyadata varnayedya bhaktim param bhagavati pratilabhya kamam hridrogamashvapahinotya dhiraha. This is in the 10th canto. This is the last verse of the Rasa dance. Shukadeva Goswami says, one who wants to get out of the hridroga. What is the disease of the heart in this material world? There is only one disease actually. What is that disease? Stri maituni bhavametam. The attraction between a male and female. This is the biggest disease actually. If somebody wants to kamam hridrogam, if you want to get out of this, ashva apahinoti. Apahinoti means very quickly you want to get out of it. Achirena, if you want to get out very quickly out of this, then the only process is vikriditam vrajavadubiridam cha Vishnu. Vikriditam, kridam is play. The play between Vrajabadhu and Vishnu and the Lord. If somebody hears the transcendental rasa dance between the Lord and his gopis, and one who speaks about this, how? Shraddhanvito, with Shraddha, with faith, anushrunuyad, in the following the parampara, in the disciplic succession, hearing through the parampara, athavarnayed, otherwise you are speaking about it, bhaktim param bhagavati pratilabhya. One will quickly attain the devotional sati. Pratilabhya bhaktim param. And very quickly he will get out of the hridroga, the disease of the heart, which is lust. And then we can tune our hearts with the heart of Shukadeva Goswami, with the heart of Srila Prabhupada, and with the heart of Vyasadeva. Then we can understand that Bhagavatam is not interested in mundane criticism, but it's trying to give us a message. So I will stop here. Thank you so much for helping me cross the ocean of a difficult verse. And I seek blessings and seek forgiveness if I have spoken something that is not pleasant to your hearts. Are there any questions or comments? Yes, Mataji. Yeah.
I definitely appreciate, thank you for the class, by the way. I definitely appreciate the point that you made as a literature device that Urvasi is using at this point the purpose is to instill detachment
Yes.
in the heart of Pururava.
Yes.
And if we see in context, it's quite important for us to understand things in context, because isolated verse
Yes.
is quite confusing.
Yes.
Can sound even offensive.
Yes.
But 2 points. To Urvasi, in previous verse, she said, that you should not rely on what they talk. So if we base on that principle, all these verses that she's talking as a woman, so we shouldn't take it seriously then, for that 1 point. Second is that, seen in context, Urvasi, by doing it, trying to instruct Pururava, if we see at the pastime itself, we can see how she's placed in a superior position, that's Pururava, in the sense that she's aware of his conditioning, his suffering. She knows what is the goal of life, so she's trying to help him. So out of compassion, she even talked, in one sense, derogative way about women.
Yes.
Just again, trying to instill the detachment in Pururava. But her plan is not just that. She also used different strategies. Now, this is one. Okay, I'll try to talk in this way, so at least quickly he will wake up. But it looks like it doesn't work much, because he's insisting, no, please don't go, I want to stay with you. And she, out of care, she said, okay, this strategy doesn't work, let's do it gradually. So, okay, we will meet once a year.
Yep.
So it's the next step of
Yes.
her strategy.
Yep.
The power that she has.
Yes.
Because for her she knows what's happening, and so I need to help him.
Yes.
So, okay, this strategy doesn't work, let's go for the next one. So she's in control, she is aware of the situations. So in that way we can see how much is the quality of her character. So we need to appreciate that in context.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that is 1 point.
Yes.
And the question that I wanted to ask, because quite interesting, when you said for Kumaras, their brahmacharya become actually established when they become devotees. In my understanding, they wanted to remain as little kids, because they didn't want it to be affected for again sexual desires.
Yes.
So in that sense, their austerity to remain as kids,
Yes.
it doesn't have sense, because didn't work.
Yes.
Because they only became brahmacharis when they became devotees. So it doesn't make sense if they remain as a kid or a child.
So you're saying, just to understand your question, you're saying they are children anyway, so they are brahmacharis by default, because they are children.
That was the purpose why they became or they remain.
But
like
you
kids.
see, there was beyond lust. There is another problem. What is that? Somebody can control lust, but somebody cannot control beyond lust. What is that? Another defect of the heart. Huh? No. Krishna's verse. Kamayesha, Krodayesha. They got angry on the Dwarapalakas of the Lord.
Yeah.
So they might be brahmacharis, but they did not have control on anger because of pride of brahmacharya or whatever. So that means they are not completely evolved yet in their devotion. But then they get transformed, and then they understand, oh, we have won lust, but we haven't won anger. Same with Vishwamitra also. He wins lust, but he fails for anger. So both have to be won, both anger and lust. Somebody gave the example, Lord Shiva, gets angry on Kamadev and burns him. But Kamadev gets attracted to Krishna, because Krishna can even win over anger also. So in the example of the 4 Kumaras, it is both lust as well as anger. And when they meet the Lord, when they smell Tulasya Rasana, the smell of Tulasi, then they become devotee, because they sober down after that. But till then, they are brahmacharis, but they are like uncontrolled brahmacharis. When they become devotees, then they become evolved completely. No anger, no asuya, not seeing the Dwarpalkas as doing their duty. That's my understanding, Mataji. But the whole point, Jiva Goswami states in Krishna Sandarbha is, Krishna is giving us a thought that he comes as Kumaras to signify that only by devotion to Bhagavan, you can get rid of the problem of sexual thoughts in the brain. The point is devotion to the Lord.
Yeah, and because Bhikkhana Brahmacharya Grihastra is just
it's just a social,
circumstantial.
Yeah, it's just a social order of the body.
Means, but the goal is being devotee.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. It's just the classification of the body through its growth stages. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the nice class. Prabhu, we see Prabhupada mentioned in the purport how women are considered to be less intelligent. But at the same time, we see Krishna...
less intelligent?
In one of the purports
in Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah. And at the same time, we see Lord Krishna, he states in 10.34 that among women, I represent these 7 qualities, and out of them, it is intelligence.
Yes.
So, if Krishna is represented by women in as intelligence, aren't women supposed to be the most intelligent out of everyone?
They are. Krishna also says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Those women who are intelligent have buddha and bhava balanced. Intelligence and emotion balanced. Bhava means emotion. So there has to be a balance. And the criticism of Prabhupada initially, women are less intelligent, is criticizing the material intelligence. Sometimes too much intelligence, like the Yagnika Brahmanas, they are too intelligent. What happened? You see? Therefore, that intelligence is criticized. But here, buddhi, I actually quoted a verse from the Brahma Purana, which says, Brahma, let me get back to that verse, where, buddhim tu pramadan vidyat, where buddhi is compared to the feminine aspect. Why? Because buddhi is required for anything, but that intelligence is coming with a balance of emotion, not just material intelligence. So that is called spiritual intelligence or transcendental intelligence. There is a potential in the feminine. That's why Krishna says, among them I am intelligent. But among women I am intelligent, he says, or fine speech.
Intelligence, I think.
Yeah. So what is criticized is material intelligence. What is glorified is the actual buddhi, the buddhi of sustenance, the buddhi of nurturing. Therefore, that's why Prabhupada always says, if there is a chaste wife and a sane husband, then the house is a Vaikuntha. So that's the point. They both go hand in hand. If there is a physical, let's say the male is compared to a physical worker, but the sane mind is the woman, the intelligence is the woman. That's why you see various places in the scriptures, who was the first woman in the Bhagavatam to receive transcendental instructions?
Kunti.
No. Devahuti. She was the first student, The glorification of women starts in the very beginning. Of course, Kunti prayer starts. Kunti glorifies the Supreme Lord. She's not there as a student. She's actually teaching us. Kunti is teaching us by her live example. Like that you will see many places. In Mahabharata, many places, Dharmaraja goes to Draupadi and asks, shall I do this, shall I not do this? And Draupadi instructs, because Draupadi is not a daughter like all of us. She's Agni Janani. She's directly born out of fire. She was not born as a young baby and then grown. She was directly come out of the fire. So she was very intelligent. And even Dharmaraj, Bhima and Arjuna used to listen to Draupadi. So scriptures always have honored. In fact, all our presiding deities of intelligence are Devates. Gayatri, Saraswati, Vidya Lakshmi. They're not male deities, they are female deities. It comes from the mother, because she is the source. She is the source. Mother means source is always feminine. Makes sense? Its principle is always feminine. So therefore, feminine is worshipable. But we have to understand that beyond our material proclivities. Then it will make sense.
Thank you.
Makes sense? Thank you. We'll stop here. Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.